Arden, David Lee. Sorry, we're taking these out of order. Thank you, Mr. Lee, for agreeing to come in early. It's worked out very, very well in terms of just getting the sequence of submissions right.
Yeah, what I'm going to talk about is mainly the contribution fees on subdivisions mainly. The reason is that, like everyone's got children, teenagers and that, and I've got family, and they're all trying to buy a section, buy a house. No doubt we can get rid of this contribution fee, it would be a great thing. So I'm really against contribution fee, as said in number 1. I mean, the other thing is that we never had contribution fee 100 years ago, or even the last 30 years ago with no contribution. Why should we have it now? I mean, it's just another way of collecting revenue. Number 2, which I said that the council should really, all these costs should be really paid out of the rates that City Council collect. And number 3, the City Council need to manage what's important and how it spends its money. Well, it should be in finance. It needs to really prioritise what the City Council spend on. Most of the big things, like they should have a list, like from which is first, and then come down to a whole list at the bottom we can actually leave off. Number 4, all these different contributions charges are a complex system which are costly to implement. I mean, you need a lot of staff, whatever required to calculate all these figures. Number 5, it has failed to see that every new house or section increases the rate revenue. I mean, the City Council really need to push hard in this area. I mean, this is an area to generate revenue. 6, the quality of the new subdivision require very little maintenance. They are engineered and the materials used are designed to last a very long time. Just for example, the earlier days used to have clay sewers, and nowadays the storm waters are now PVC pipes. Even road construction is different to how it was done in previously using engineering and ground structure. 7, in a new subdivision or addition, the developer pays all development costs need to make up a subdivision. I mean, here, number 7 is a chance to create zero cost subdivision, I mean building a subdivision that requires very little cost. 8, having development contribution charges helps all first home buyers, and most sections could be 20,000 or more cheaper. 9, are we living beyond our means, like flashy convention centre, stadium, town hall, sports centre that will be most times not used? We are living in a high-tech age where these above infrastructures will be downsized. Number 11, the City Council is installing fibre optic cable everywhere for the new generation of high-speed internet, where live screen will be in our homes and our cell phones. Imagine what's to come in the next 10 or 15 years. 12, the new generation subdivision could be in the southwest area, Rolleston, Prebbleton and Hornby and Horswell. 13, the Christchurch City CBD needs to be shifted to this side of the town to serve the expanding population in this area. There's some advantages here because it would be cheaper to build an underground train because of the soil structure. 14, the old damaged CBD could be used as an entertainment and a tourist park. I mean, we do call ourselves the Garden City. 15, the old damaged CBD, the ground is unstable and the cost for foundation is too expensive. 16, there's more earthquake to come because all these unknown fault lines are under the city. 17, if we reduce the size of these new buildings and stadium, it will reduce the costs against the contribution charges. 18, the rate collected based on a 50-year return for 1,000 sections with new houses would return a rate of $3,000 and 1,000 equal to 150 million plus inflation. 19. With low interest rates overseas of 1% or near or similar, the City Council should be borrowing offshore for these small shortfalls and costs of contribution charges. 20. Rate is to pay the running costs to maintain and upgrade existing infrastructure like wastewater, water, rubbish collecting, stormwater, sports stadiums and community centres. All the contribution charges should be part of the rate charges, as I'll say again. Thank you.
Thank you. Look, just on, development contributions were a new thing to me when I became the mayor. I didn't have much of an interest in these matters. But now I do have a great interest in these, because we've got entire communities who've been moved from the east of Christchurch. We've got significant growth, more growth than we had ever anticipated, very quickly happening in the southwest. So why should the people in the east be rated for the new assets that have to be built to support the population growth in the southwest?
Well, if we're looking, we need to look in the next 100 years. In the next 100 years, I've been back to China, Guangzhou, and my village people used to be way outside the Guangzhou city. Yeah. And now it's actually going to be incorporated for part of the city. And if we look at Ashburton, Rakai, the next 100 years or 200 years, that could be part of Christchurch. It'll be taken up. If we ship the CBD
just a local government act reform would do that.
The other thing is that to build an underground fast train, you can't build it on the east side. It's too swampy. But on the southwest side, you can actually build an underground train quite cheap, like what they do in Hong Kong. Have multi-levels and multi-level train, and they actually go out each side and serve the whole city.
No, I understand scale, but in terms of the here and now, we've got areas that are no longer, sustaining the level of population. So we've got libraries to build, we've got community centres to build, we've got service centres to build. And the development contributions. They're not even allowed to take into account libraries anymore, which is just beyond my comprehension. That is a community asset. I agree with you that the way that these things are going to be delivered in the future, the things that are happening from a technological point of view, they're going to change our world forever. We were just discussing the Powerwall before, that's been announced by Tesla. We may not need an electricity distribution network in the future either. So there's a lot of changes going on, but why wouldn't you take it from the development themselves for the public spaces and the community facilities, and also for connecting to the infrastructure that the city's paid for over the years but can't put forward, has to put the connections in place now? We can't pay for it in 100 years' time if we need it now.
What I'm trying to say here, if we move over to the southwest area, you could actually build 2 convention centres for the same price as what you build in the city. Yeah, because of the way you build it.
We're not building the convention centre, and there's those of us who actually think that the scale might actually be slightly wrong, but
there you go. In the near future, we talk about fast train for Auckland. If we move the city over towards the southwest area, we could actually build a fast network train, no trouble at all. It'd be cheap to build.
I understand where you're coming from, but that is just not going to happen. They're rebuilding the CBD. We're rebuilding the CBD. But anyway, Andrew.
Your point number 7 in your submission. In a new subdivision or addition, the developer pays all the development costs needed to make up a subdivision. Now, I would take the view that the developer is running his business and he's intending making a profit out of that business, and his business is developing that subdivision.
That's right.
Why should all of the ratepayers of the city assist that developer in making his profit from his subdivision when he's running his business?
The developer's already putting all the money to build all the infrastructure in the new subdivision. He pays for the sewer, he pays for the whole lot, he pays for the roading, he pays for everything. Only thing the City Council pays just do the final connection wherever the wastewater goes to. If they're collecting 150 million over 50 years, I mean, that can easily pay for the upgrade of any kind of existing sewer system, whatever it needs to connect in the long term. If you build a zero maintenance, most of the new subdivisions are zero rated. There should be very little cost the City Council need to spend in the next 50 years. I mean, all the rates are collected off there over the 50 years, it'll be 150 million. I mean, all that's just revenue. I mean, easy revenue. I mean, so what council should be doing, should be pushing harder for more subdivisions and more housing, to get the extra rate revenue.
I don't know that it's cost free, but no, look, thank you for that. Much appreciated. Glad that you made the effort to make a submission and come in and represent yourself in that regard. Thank you. Bronwyn.